Hey everyone, welcome back to the video. So today we're going to be talking about Doom the Dark Ages as Hugo Martin, the creative director on the game, revealed more information about the project, such as how the game will end potentially, and also an interesting way of how people can experiment with how to play the game. So let's get started then, shall we? I mean, that would end the Dark Ages, the medieval chapter of the saga. This is kind of like the Chronicles of the Slayer, the game Dr. Hugo Martin told PC Gamer when asked about potentially seeing the Slayer getting locked away. So if we took it all the way to that point, I mean, we couldn't tell any more medieval stories. I'm not announcing projects or anything other than that to say it's better leave it open. The game director also added that the Dark Ages team has some DLC planned for the prequel, so again, playing the Slayer in a coffin during the main story wouldn't make any sense. We do have a DLC and things like that, so it won't. I'm not giving away spoilers, but it doesn't end with him in the coffin. The story is that they collapse the building on top of him and then put him inside the sarcophagus is that we find him at the beginning of 2016, so the game does not end that way. You know, I have a theory. Okay, now that we kind of know it's not the ending we all expected, I have a potential theory that's going on here. Because in the lore, there's actually details about how after the Makers turned on the Sentinels, there's actually a war that is going on between the Makers and the Sentinels. Obviously, that involves the Doomslayer as well. And that the Sentinels, including the Doomslayer, were trapped in hell, were sealed in hell for a while. So I wonder if the DLC could entail that war, and that could obviously lead into him eventually being sealed away by by the demons. So that's kind of how we get to that point, where it leads right into Doom 2016. But again, that's just a little theory that I have. I've seen this theory also by others, so we'll see what happens. But I guess that's just what if itself wants to tell that story. Hey, that's what we'll get. But hey, time will tell. We don't know how this game will entail. So yeah, it's not the ending that we all expected. But anyway, moving on to the second part of this video real quick. We are going to be talking about how that way that Hugo Martin kind of indicated. So let's get into that, shall we? So when you think of Doom, your mind will undoubtedly go to blasting demons to hunks of viscera with a super shoddy or a BFG. And despite going back in the past, Doom the Dark Ages shows no signs of straying away from serious tradition. The trailers have featured all the weapons you couldn't expect, some new ones like the Skull Crusher, which is that new skull crushing auto rifle, essentially. But according to Doom the Dark Ages game director Hugo Martin, you can make your way through the game without finding a single shot. One of the new features in Doom the Dark Ages is a parry system, and enhanced melee attacks with the likes of a shield, chainsaw hybrid, and demonic flail. When asked by PC Gamer if it's possible to make your way through the game without shooting, he seems optimistic. If people could beat Dark Souls no damage and pistol only nightmare runs, I'm sure we'll figure out a way how to do it with the shield and the melee because they're pretty all powerful, but y'all have a hard time, that's for sure. I'd say the Doom community is going to be up for the challenge, Hugo. That being said, this isn't a situation where the approach has been hardwired into the game as a standard approach. As Martin says, the game's not necessarily built to do that. Adding not like a Dishonored or something where you're balancing the game for somebody to be able to do that. At its heart, Doom the Dark Ages is still an adrenaline-filled first-person shooter, not immersive sim, so the developers definitely expect Doom Guy to do what he does best. And that's kind of all what we got. And that, like I said though, people are gonna do it. I guarantee it. If they did a pistol only run on Nightmare mode in Doom 2016, y'all know they're gonna do it with this. I'd imagine they're gonna probably do it on the hardest difficulty too. You already know that's gonna happen, and that's gonna be interesting to see who is the first to do it. Like they'll definitely make headlines with that. So that's gonna be very interesting to see. I'll definitely be looking forward to that. Just see who can do it, who can actually do that challenge and be successful in it. Because the idea of completing the game without firing a single shot at all, that's kind of crazy to even think about because of the new mechanics with the parry and the 3 different melee weapons you can do. Those could be very interesting to see how people pull that off. And again, if people could do a Dark Souls run with no damage, I mean, there's no doubt people are going to be able to pull it off with this game, no, for sure. Now, the interesting part is because we all know in the dragon and the cyborg parts of the game, both of those have guns too. So I wonder if the settings will actually count that as shooting a gun. So that's gonna be interesting to see if that's included in the challenge. Ooh, that's gonna make it even more difficult because of that reason. But if it doesn't, then it'll be a little easier. So I guess depends on how people use that challenge. I guess how they foresee it. But yeah, very interesting stuff. This game is coming up pretty quick in less than 2 months, man. We're almost there, folks. Less than 60 days, so it's coming up pretty close. I'm so hyped for this game, man. I can't wait. This is definitely one of my most anticipated games of the freaking year, and it's coming out in less than 2 months. So I cannot freaking wait to dive into this game, man. With how 2016 and Eternal both turned out, I have no question that id Software is going to deliver once again. Like, they're gonna be 3 for 3 at this point, man. Like, how can you not be impressed? Like, seriously, how can you not be impressed with 3 for 3 in a whole, essentially in a trilogy, really, when you think about it? With the how I was expecting the game to end to be corn salty, I was thinking it was gonna be like Halo Reach, because it was like a foregone conclusion, but I guess not, especially with them doing DLC, as Hugo said. So, but yep. Yeah, May 15th, technically I'll get the game 2 days early because I got the collector's edition, so I just can't wait for this game to come out. That's all I'm going to say on that. But anyway, what do you guys think of this? Let me down in the comment section below. If you like this video, hit the like button. Hit the like button, and I'll see, and consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.